real natter. I have been literally since she sat down. And Scout has suddenly made himself very comfortable. I think we have a new addition to the sofa.
They match, so he knows what's happening.
It's like an accessory.
He's beautiful.
Now then, I'm sure you recognise our next guest from some of Hollywood's most iconic films of the late 90s and early 2000s, from Cool Intentions to Legally Blonde.
But in recent years, Selma Blair has stepped into a very different spotlight, bravely sharing her journey after being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2018, a condition that at one point left her unable to walk or even talk.
Well, 7 years on, she's inspiring millions around the world. I'm delighted that she joins us now, alongside her service dog, Scout, who essentially is offering the service to cat of just making you
That's all right.
melt.
You know, I've made so many gains because I am so lucky that I, have relapse-remitting MS, and I am relapse-free now for a couple years. And so I've made so many gains. And so I kind of pet-ified him by accident because I'm doing a lot better with my balance and things. So he's really happy to take a break from me and look at the gorgeous woman in front of him. Because it looks like love. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I could happily...
They
say that dogs and cats don't get along, but they
look
really
at the two of you.
do, don't they?
Selma, let's talk about this MS.
Yes.
It's just an extraordinary thing. From what you experienced growing up to eventually getting your diagnosis, which took altogether too long.
Yes.
What sort of symptoms were you getting before your diagnosis?
Gosh, I had symptoms since as young as I can remember with my eyesight. So I had like the optical neuritis, and we just kind of never really diagnosed it. Just said, oh, well, now it's turned into a lazy eye. Now she's a lazy eye.
What does that manifest itself as? What does that mean?
It can be painful in the eye, pressure, and the eye nerve gets quite inflamed,
Right.
and so you can accrue damage the longer that stays. But then with relapsing MS, it can also remit. It can go away, and so it can be tricky, I think, for doctors, especially when you're young and quite capable. I do neurological tests at the doctor, squawk like a chicken and walk on my toes, and I could do all that. He wants to get closer to you, but we'll just get him over here.
I think he can smell
there. Now he's going to cuddle in for the night. So there were things I could see would be missed, but I did. I had chronic headaches, chronic fever. My leg, I had a drop leg. I developed tics at sometimes, which was when I would actually be in a flare as a child. And then that would kind of go away and I would heal. There'd be brain plasticity or whatever it is. But I did spend my entire life with doctors really trying to figure out why I was so tired. But it was just really misdiagnosed as depression, because I guess extreme fatigue can also seem like depression. And so I kind of just went that way and figured, oh God, I guess it's all in my head. And really owns that, but it was quite confusing. Yeah. And then when I was pregnant with my child, I felt great. And I didn't know I wasn't diagnosed with MS yet, and I didn't know that oftentimes it can go into remission. And so I felt amazing. I didn't need all this sleep. I thought, oh my God, it's my son's hormones, Be gone with all my female emotion hormones. My son is changing me. And I felt great until I gave birth. And then it was,
Came back with a vengeance.
Everything hit the fan. And I didn't know what it was. And the doctor said, oh, it could be, I couldn't walk. I mean, it was just too painful. I could not walk. And so I said, oh, this happens to a lot of women. Your tendons must have loosened and you have Ehlers-Danlos, so maybe that also played some effect, which is just a connective tissue thing, not related to MS. And so there were a few things, and so it was missed and then just described as extreme postpartum because I had trouble staying awake. But on the bright side, I got to spend so much time with my son.
Of course.
I was really home with him.
In the end, I think it was, am I right in saying it was almost a plea that you put out on social media that got you the diagnosis?
I had taken so much time from work. My skin had fallen apart and my body and fatigue, and there did get a point where it's like, okay, I have to go back to work, no matter what. And so I was searching on social media, does anyone have a doctor that can give me maybe a steroid shot so I could deal with the plane so I'm not in pain? I thought I pinched a nerve, and I'd be riding my horse and get whiplash all the time. I didn't know I wasn't strong enough to carry myself over the fences anymore. So it was easily missed. But I go to the doctor quite often saying, I can't stay awake. And he's like, oh, what mother can? I'm like, no, seriously. But I did. I put a plea out on social media with like kind of a here nor there, like x-ray of my spine saying, I don't know what to do. I want to get on a plane tomorrow. What can I do? And my old friend, Elizabeth Berkley,
who's lovely.
Yeah,
and we grew up in Michigan together before she went to Hollywood early to make her way. And she said, go see my brother. He's a spinal neurologist. And so I did, for the first time, saw a spinal neurologist, and he looked at my little MRI and said, yeah, you're getting older, but this doesn't seem like it would be something this severe that your leg's dragging. And then I fell asleep. And he said to my then boyfriend, does this happen all the time? Is she always... And he said, oh, yes, I think they put her on meds for depression, and she's probably make her tired. She's trying to go off on those. And he said, no, something's wrong. So he stood me up and gave me a Romberg test, and then I just fell right backwards. I have no sense of where my body is in space if my eyes are shut.
Goodness.
And so I got an MRI for the first time that night, even though I'd begged for one my whole life.
They'd never given you an MRI?
Never. It would have shown
point.
the receipts. I had CAT scans, I had other things, but never an MRI.
And so from that moment...
So now I'm such an MRI,
advocate,
for sure.
Advocate of it, because it immediately showed. He said, oh, you must have had this 25, 30 years. And I still didn't put together that was what everything I had gone to the doctor for, everything I was trying to do cleanses for, I was always trying. Everything I was self-medicating for. So it was amazing to get it, a bit in shock, but I was really amazed.
There must have been a huge sense of relief, though, after coping for that long. And I always think that human beings, the most scary thing is the unknown, right? The thing that you don't know. You can't identify it. You can't put a name on it. So to suddenly have that, as kind of devastating as that diagnosis is, there must have been a sense of relief as well.
Absolutely.
I'm not going crazy.
That was exactly it. I had to rethink everything about myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I really thought, oh, you are a psychosomatically traumatized person, your issues are in the tissues, you're making this up. I was fully prepared. Like, I told that story. You know, oh, my leg's not working today. Something must have gone wrong at home. You know, like, I don't know. I just really owned it. And I'm still letting that go. Like, still learning to just be me, that not everything is in my head, even though it's in my head. But it was when I'd, like, lost my sense of smell and had gone to ear, nose, and throat doctor. He said, I think you need to go to a head doctor. And I thought he meant a shrink, and I'm like, oh, I've been through a bunch of that. But anyhow, Jason Berkley.
Amazing.
Anyhow, he's not what didn't become my doctor, but he was the one that
that facilitated it.
diagnosed
So
and
how are
is
you
forever
now
a
then?
friend.
Thriving.
You seem great, Selma, and obviously Scout's a great
You know,
companion, but
I
how is
tried a
life
bunch
for you
of
now?
different treatments, and then finally I found the doctor that was right for me. And I'm 2 years really relapse-free and making gains and wanting to do the most with my life, and I'm much happier, and I'm really a different person now, because I really thought I was someone else that couldn't quite be trusted, you know?
Yeah, of course. So we will have viewers undoubtedly watching this morning that maybe recognise some of the symptoms you've talked about, may have just had a multiple sclerosis diagnosis as well. What advice would you give them?
Gosh, I think, you know, any diagnosis can be really, really troubling for people. For me, it wasn't. I was a bit in shock and wondering, oh, God, how will I get to work and feel better right away? But I knew that it was incurable, so I was like, well, what's the rush? But I did need help. And I think for people, there's so many things you can learn about yourself on the way with it. There were so many hacks, and even like going on doing Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, yeah.
And I was quite weak then. I had been like really resting in bed for a long time. And I didn't realize how much I missed people, how isolating it can be to have a chronic illness or autoimmune. So to go on that show and then realize how many people it touched and how many people that had their own diagnoses or chronic illnesses that felt like, oh, maybe I could do that, or at least it's fun watching her, or, you know, they felt something. And I felt that's where I really started to get an audience, despite the movies that I had done, that really rang true with people, and also announcing it, or just walking out with an assistive device, which I sometimes need for balance still. And the dog does counterbalance. But it was my love for people on social media. It wound up being a real salve for me, and people really
To find that
opened me up.
community
to
that
find
really
that
helps you,
community
yeah.
and to want to help and to want to develop tricks and hacks. Because even on Dancing with the Stars, we would never move to the left because that's my like kind of drop leg that's slower to
Right.
respond.
Yeah.
And he held my hand all the time. You wouldn't even notice, but we picked dances like a fast step or things. Or, you know, when I could do a cartwheel, my legs were far enough apart. But I did. I got in so much better shape and made so much more gains. So, you know, we have to keep moving.
Yeah,
Hold on to hope.
And it can really do so much.
Absolutely, and help other people as well who
Yes.
find
Which is what you're
themselves
doing.
in that turmoil
Yes.
at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
coming on the
coming
show.
Oh my
by.
God, thank you so
think you
much.
might
Can we
stay.
babysit?
Oh my God, look at this, see? I mean, I don't ever have a sad day anymore. Look at this.
You
He's
couldn't
staring.
possibly. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
We're not going to let you
so
take it,
much.
no.
No,
Oh, hello.
that's-
Thanks for
Thank you.
visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.